Hello, this is Gabriel Morrison, and today I'm going to be doing the packet tracer investigating TCP, IP, and OSI models in action. Alright, so here is packet tracer, my web server, my web client. And edit my filter so only HTTP is shown. And as you can see, we now have the 4 events listed. And now it wants us to check and see if the website changed. And it now says a successfully accessed homepage. We're going to check out the first event. And on this one there's only 2 tabs, the OSI model and outbound PDU details. Typically there's only 2 on the first one because it is only sending, it's not receiving anything. The next 2 will have 3 because it's going to include the inbound PDU details since it is receiving and then sending and vice versa. And the last one will only have inbound. As you can see, this one does not use layers 6 or 5. And below these 2 columns, you can see that will change when you click on it. So this one just says the HTTP client sends a HTTP request to the server. Here you can see the destination port is 80, source port is 1025, destination IP is 192.168.1.254, and the source IP is 192.168.1.1. And this tells you all of this information here. It says the ARP process looks it up in the ARP table. Next hop IP address is in the ARP table. The ARP process sets frames, destination, MAC address to the one found in the table. And the device encapsulates the PDU into an Ethernet frame. Alright, so here we were checking what's common between the IP section of PDU details as compared to information listed under the OSI model tab and which layer it is associated with. So the IP right here I'm going to show the source and the destination, just like layer 3. Source IP, destination IP. For the TCP section, we want to compare that and find out which layer is associated with the OSI model. So here we have ports, sequence number. Let's see what we have over here. We have source port and destination port should be the same, and they are. So the TCP would obviously be layer 4, the TCP. And now, what is the host listed under HTTP section of the PDU details? The host is www.osi.local. What layer would this information be associated with? That would be layer 7, the HTTP layer. Alright, so let's check out event number 2. Here we only have layer 1 because the device is moving the frame from the buffer and placing it on the network. And we're going to check the next one. Here we have 3 tabs, the OSI model. This time we have inbound PDU details, and then we have outbound. And if you notice, the arrow at the bottom of the in layers shows the information moving this direction, then out, and that direction. So this is the information that was just sent out that we viewed in the first event, and this is the reply. Alright, so if you compare the layers in to the layers out, you have the server receives HTTP request, and the server sends back the HTTP reply to the client. That started the layer 1. Fast Ethernet 0 receives a frame, and on the out layer it sends out the frame. The frame's destination MAC address matches receiving port's MAC address, broadcast address, or multicast address. Device decapsulates the PDU from the Ethernet frame because it received it. It's going to decapsulate it so it can read it. And over here, it's going to encapsulate because it's sending out. The packet's destination IP address matches device's IP address. Then device decapsulates, and destination IP address is the same subnet. The device sets the next hop to destination. And as you can see here, the source port is now the old destination port because that is the server sending it out back to the client, which is the destination port 1025. Alright, let's take a look at the outbound, and it wants to know the first line in the HTTP message that displays. Which is going to be http/1.1 200 OK. We're going to click on the last event, and it wants to know how many tabs there are. There's only 2. The reason for that is because the web client did not send anything out. It only received from the web server. Alright, moving on to part 2. So I closed the info windows, and it now wants to see all events. Additional event types. We have DNS, ARP, DNS, TCP. Those are the different event types. Alright, so we're going to click on the first DNS event in the info column. Explore OSI model and PDU detail tabs and note the encapsulation process. As you look at the OSI model tab with layer 7 highlighted, a description of what is occurring is listed directly below in layers and out layers. The DNS client sends a DNS query to the DNS server. This is very useful information to help understand what is occurring during the communication process. Alright. So layer 7, layer 4, layer 3. What information is listed in the name in the DNS query section? The name of the website that we typed in. It's trying to find the IP address. Click the last DNS info colored square box in the event list and what device is displayed. I believe that's the last one. Yep. Same thing. It is still osi.local. Alright. Which device is this is from the web server. What is the value listed next to address in DNS answer section? The address is 192.168.1.254. Find the first HTTP event in the list and click the colored square box of the TCP event immediately following this event. Highlight layer 4 and OSI model tab. Alright, so let's find here we go. Layer 4. And then numbered list directly below the in layers and out layers. What is the information displayed under items 4 and 5? I don't have those. Find the first HTTP event. Ah, that's why. TCP. So this is the one it wants us to look at. Highlight layer 4, and it wants to know the information displayed under items 4 and 5. TCP connection was successful. Device sets the connection state to established. Click the last TCP event. Highlight layer 4. Examine the steps listed directly below. Well, what is the purpose of this event based on the information provided in the last item? The device sets the connection state to close. So the purpose of this event was to close the connection between the web client and the web server. And moving on to the challenge. This simulation provides an example of a web session between a client and a server on a local area network. The client makes requests to specific services running on the server. The server must be set up to listen on specific ports for a client request. Hint is look at layer 4 in the OSI model tab for port information. Based on the information that was inspected during packet tracer capture, what port number is the web server listening on for the web request? Alright, let's see what our so it should be listening to port 80 because that is the port we sent to. Let's see, inbound. Source port 80, destination port 1025. Let's go back to show non HTTP. Okay, so yes, the web client is on sending from port 1025 and the HTTP. Okay, let's see. Yep, okay, so the web server is listening on port 80. For a web server listening for the web page request, okay. What is it listening to for the DNS request? Looks like 53. So the server is listening for DNS requests on port 53. And that's my final answer, and that does it for this video. Thank you for watching.